For most of human civilization, humans were farmers. They were farmers for two reasons. One is to produce nourishment for their physical body, to be able to eat and drink off the resources of the land. And the number two reason was to produce an income from the resources of the land. It wasn't until, the past couple hundred years or so, the structure of money and commerce and economic system with the industrial era and the technology era, that things have changed and people have freed up their time. And there is abundance of food in most first world countries. And so now you're not spending all day trying to get basic food and trying to make basic money. You can focus more on other things. But there's a lot to be learned, okay, from milking the cow, which was a primitive act for two reasons: to nourish yourself and to make income. When it comes to milking the cow, the first thing we learn that there are resources around us if we use them to produce something. But the cow is not going to milk itself. You have to physically put effort into milking the cow. When the cow is ready to produce milk, it wants to produce milk. Its natural state is to produce milk. But you have to physically exert energy and effort into getting the resource of milk out of that cow. And even as time went on in human history, and the industrial era brought a level of mechanical milking of the cow where you physically didn't have to go to the cow. You could put a machine there and it would drain the cow of milk. You still needed to invest time and energy to set that machine up. Okay. Even when things are automated, you still need to spend time and energy and an investment to set that up. Investments don't just happen. They require sacrifice initially and for a long-term reward. And pay attention to this message. It doesn't matter if you're a vegan, you believe in almond milk or soy milk. I drink soy milk mainly now. This is a lesson. Effort, energy, investment in time, okay, to get the reward, whether it's for your nourishment or for your money. Milk the cow. The second thing I want to structure the conversation around, I just Googled real quick, well, when do you stop milking a cow? Because there's a time for everything. And a cow is not always able to produce. And it basically says, from a quick Google search, that when the cow produces 30 pounds or less, when the cow does not produce that much milk in a day, trying to get more out of it is absolutely, it's not productive, because you're trying to, what they say, like get blood out of a stone. You're trying to get something out of it what isn't there. And that's an important thing in life. Why? Well, whether we're talking about an investment, whether we're talking about a relationship, whether we're talking about a venture in life, there's a time where things dry up. Okay? And that's when adaptation, reevaluation comes into play. Now, there is no exact science in life. What does that mean? Well, that means that sometimes in life you have to stay with things that are not producing immediately. So, this is a parable, but not an exact science, meaning that we're getting a visual illustration that when the cow is done feeding, when a mother is done breastfeeding, when there's no more milk, there's only so much you can get from it. So you can't keep putting more effort into something you're not getting out of it. So, but there's a time to walk away from something, take a break so you can sustain it and then come back to it. Okay, this is a parable now. And the third thing is, eventually things change. Eventually we may get to a point in human history where we never milk cows. Maybe, even now, if some women don't physically breastfeed, they store the milk. But the story, the parable of the story, is always going to be the same. Okay? Lessons, even in different stories, remain the same, which is to get a reward requires effort. the cow is not going to milk itself. Number two is there's a time to move on because it's produced all its milk, but there's a time to hold on because sometimes for long-term sustainable investments you need to hold on. And number three is there's a time to adapt where you look at the situation differently, okay? But however the situation ends up being for you, the bottom line of the equation is you have to look around at your talents, your gifts, your opportunities, and you have to put effort to getting out the reward. And you have to be willing to adapt, willing to hold on through some pain, and willing to let go if it's offered. All those things are part of the lesson of milking a cow. And I think about, when I get down on society, down on mankind, I think about how far mankind has come, humans have come. We were able to get from a place of survival, looking around and, solely spending all day, trying to feed off the animals, live off the animals. Now we go to a park, we feed the animals. I mean, there's an abundance in a first world country. You got the internet, there's an abundance where you're at. You don't have the internet and watch this if you're not around abundance, but you got to milk the cow, you got to put effort into it. It doesn't just come out. When you go to Wawa, the free ice doesn't just come out. When you go to the gym, the weights don't lift themselves. When you go to the shower, the water doesn't just come out. You have to turn the knob. Everything in life that you want requires that you do something. There's little to nothing in life that you're going to want that requires you to do nothing. And anytime you get seduced by doing nothing, it's a mirage. It's a falsehood. Refocus on your daily routine, on your daily tasks, for your physical well-being, for your nourishment, for your money, for your opportunities, for your resources, and then put it into work, put it into action. Okay, and that's the bottom line. Okay, I hope this video helped in some way. If it did, click the thumbs up. Under 10 minutes. This is a very key point. It's actually 7 minutes and 40 seconds as I mark this. Listen, I looked up on Google, how long does it take to milk a cow? They said 5 to 7 minutes. The average video shouldn't be more than 5 to 7 minutes. Anything longer than that, the cow doesn't produce as much milk. You say, but there's a vast need for entertainment, and there's true. So there's no exact science. Sometimes you can just go on for hours, and there's a value. I get value out of some of those things, but I want to share with you. Be careful. Between 5 to 15 minutes, most things can get accomplished. Essential things. There's time that you got to spend on other things, of course. Come on now. But I hope this helped in some way. Under 10 minutes, I'm out of here. Click the thumbs up before you leave. Share the video. Thank you for watching.